Welcome back, everybody. Before we get to the next match, we are joined by Unlimited from Copenhagen Wolves, wrapping up a win here against Team ROCCAT, which maybe was even the hardest matchup of the entire weekend for you guys. So talk me through it. Yeah, that was maybe a little bit too much. But talk me through that matchup, because it was very close. It came down to really little things in the end.
Well, after our 2 losses, we kind of decided to prepare very well for this game. And we prepared different strats, but in the beginning of the game, we realized that they know about our strats, so we didn't know what to do. But we decided to keep lane swapping until we can get Yasuo out of the lane phase, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, and obviously when you do a lot of lane swapping, generally you tend to fall behind. You were the ones that were initiating. You managed to keep the edge. Was there any sneaky way you were trying to do it, or was it every time you did it, it's like, yeah, they're switching back, guys, should we run again?
I guess we had really good timings at our rotations. We rotated when our lanes were pushed, so we didn't lose too much CS. And I guess our Lee Sin had some pressure on the rotations, so they couldn't just run around like we did.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that jungle play, because Jankos has been playing phenomenally here, and he was on his Evelynn, stole that red buff so many times, yet you were able to contain him. So how did that work? I know you had a very good Leona ultimate there at the end. That might have been a big part in the win.
It might have been, but I guess teamwork is the one that wins the game after all. Our red buffs, well, yeah, we lost all of our red buffs, so we should keep better timers on them, I guess. The Evelynn was really good, but she went for a really squishy build, so we could one-shot her in teamfights.
And is that something you were expecting? Because we've seen it already a couple of times from Jankos. He's gone Rabadon's Death Cap, etc. in there. Are you expecting? And it seemed to me that once they didn't have that initial craziness, which we've seen from ROCCAT already, they didn't have any answer. Was this something you particularly worked as a tactic, to just shut them down, stop them getting those crazy kills?
Well, we want to swap mid mainly to shut down the mid laner and the jungler at the same time. We picked Lee Sin, which is really dominant, and we expected them to pick Evelynn, so I picked Leona, and we could one-shot the Evelynn if we find her in the jungle. I'm not sure what's...
Tell me a little bit about you playing together with Forgiven, because you've had a range of partners to play with in that bottom lane the last couple of months. You had Reckless that you've been playing with, Freeze before that, and Samurai and Jeans. How has it been for you kind of to have to adjust to new playstyles all the time?
Well, it has been hard sometimes. The playstyles were kind of different from every AD carries. We had some tough times, but now we're on the same page, I think, so it works pretty well.
And obviously you're 2-2 now in the LCS. Could have been 3-1 had it not been for that smite steal from Svenskeren yesterday. What was going through the team's strategy, minds, anything, after such a long game to just lose it on that turn?
It was really stressful, but we didn't feel that we were so far ahead. After, when we were watching the replays, then we realized how hard we threw. So, well, we were a bit devastated, but I guess that's why we didn't do Baron this time until a very late game.
Yeah, we always get to see the gold, so for us it's pretty easy to say this is when you should go in, of course. Now, I gotta ask you, maybe a little cheeky, but you played and beat ROCCAT. You played and beat Alliance. They're going up against each other later. With playing against them, who will win that fight?
I guess ROCCAT. But it's hard to tell, because Alliance will probably be really serious and they will prepare really hard for this game, so they don't finish 0-4. So the game will show.
And how do you see the rest of your season now developing? You're coming out of Super Week, 2 wins, 2 losses, 50-50. Not a bad start for a new team in the LCS.
Yeah, 2-2 is definitely not bad. We wanted 4-0, but it didn't work out. But at least Team ROCCAT didn't steal our Pikachu.
Tell me a little bit about your pick. You've played Lulu a couple of times and they first picked it. Would you have first picked it if you could, or picked it later if you could?
Probably not, because we wanted to play Leona versus KMT to dominate them. But she's really good with Yasuo, so we would definitely think about it if they left it open.
And obviously we're seeing a lot of unique champions coming out this season. Is there anything that you guys were thinking we're expecting to see these champions come out? So for example, obviously we saw the Pantheon coming out, I believe. Yasuo made his first appearances today. Is there any reason you feel that teams have been holding back on the Yasuo picks?
Well, mostly the bans, I guess. He was banned
that would
most
be a
of the
problem,
games.
yeah.
Also, some teams didn't train it because they expected to be banned, but we weren't one of those teams, so it wasn't a problem.
Okay, is there anything you want to say to the newfound fans? Do you think that you got what it takes to turn all those fans for the Copenhagen Wolves?
I want to thank them because they're great. We have few of them in the audience, and they cheered for us, and I'm thankful for that.
All right, now let's see what the fans are saying on Twitter. They're not only fans of the Copenhagen Wolves, but fans of all the teams here. And of course, we asked, what's been your favorite moment so far during week 1 and why? And here's what you had to say. The first answer from was @LolDismiss. Svenskar and Smite was amazing. Comes from nowhere and turns a lost game to a win. It shows that a game is never over. I think you remember that one.
Yeah, unfortunately I do.
And then the second one is from @MonocleJack. OverPow using mid Pantheon burst into the LCS with an out-of-the-box pick and did so in a dominant fashion.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been some incredible plays. There's so many things that they could choose from throughout this weekend. I gotta be honest, probably the Svenskar one for me may be it so far, because that was a big turnaround in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to rub it in, don't worry. The last one is from @MrJHudson69. Reckles 96. Reckles double with the super mega death rocket while getting ganked by Diamond, then flashing away against Gambit. Just whoa.
Yeah, the Gambit games have been impressive, but the Fnatic games have been even more impressive. Reckless and Yellowstar, they finally died, but they're certainly one of the highlights from this weekend.
Absolutely impressive. Also impressive win from you guys. Congratulations on that one once again. And now let's send things over